Hello you guys, and welcome back to my YouTube channel, and if you're new here, hello and welcome. So today we are going to be doing a part 4 to my Wings of Fire Hybrid Challenge, which I'm super excited about, and I know you guys seem to really enjoy these videos, so definitely planning on doing some more. But before we get into that, I wanted to discuss my posting schedule, since I am going to be starting this video. I'm going to be only posting once a week. This is partly because of summer, but I also have my channel, not channel OC. Currently I'm just using Parrot as my placeholder, as I've said, but I'm still gonna have him animated in the corners of my videos, and that, not animated, but you guys know what I mean, and that stuff takes a long time to edit, especially when my videos are, you know, like 10 minutes, at like 8 to 10 minutes usually, so it's would be really hard to do that multiple times a week. So at least for summer, but probably after that as well, I'm only going to be really posting one long-term video a week. However, shorts and posts will be still more frequent than once a week, but I just wanted to kind of give you guys an update on that. And yeah, first off, we have Sunflower, and she is a hive leaf hybrid. Now, originally when I rolled this, I wasn't really sure what I wanted to do, but I ended up basing her off of a sunflower, if her name didn't already give that away, and originally she looked more like sunflower based, I guess, but I don't know how much she looks like a sunflower now. It's kind of a roughly based, let's just say that, but her design turned out okay. I mean, it's yellow and green, you can't really go wrong, and they're my two favorite colors, so I mean, it turned out pretty good in my opinion. So, Sunflower is a very similar dragon personality-wise to Cricket, but she does have a bit of a Kinkajou-ish side, I suppose, but she's not super intelligent. Like, she's smart, but she also has this, like, nerdy quality. Now, guys, I want to say, being a nerd is not a bad thing, and I don't know why people make it a bad thing. So this girl, she is a nerd, definitely, and she loves botany, and especially poisonous plants and animals are like her favorite thing, but she does focus more on plants, obviously, since she is a leafwing hybrid. It makes more sense, but she does like animals as well, particularly poisonous ones. So I think it'd be funny if this dragon, who has a relatively sweet, kind of chill personality, just is obsessed with deadly animals and plants. Like, imagine she walks up to one of her friends and she's holding this super poisonous, venomous, like, animal. She holds it up to her friend and she's like, "Isn't this adorable?" And her friend's like, "No, it can kill you," but she's like, "But it's so cute," you know? Like, I feel like she's like that kind of dragon. So I guess she has a little bit of Sunny almost in her as well. So she does live more so in the poison jungle. She visits the hive like occasionally, because that's actually where she grew up. That's where she took all of her classes, and she kind of worked in the agricultural unit. But I imagine at this time period the time that she lives after the whole war thing, and the creepy deadly plant that kept taking over dragons' minds. So they have a class on leafwing plants and poison jungle plants in the hives, as like kind of just to educate dragons if they ever want to visit the poison jungle. So she took classes there and then eventually moved out to the poison jungle with her father to study the plants there, and she loves it, and she definitely wants to like discover new plant species and stuff too. So next up we got Moon, who is an ice rain hybrid. Now originally I wasn't 100% sure what I wanted to do with her design, because rainwing designs are generally the hardest for me, mostly just because of the variety and amount of different combinations you could go with. Now I did end up not giving her a frill, which I usually do for my rainwing hybrids, but I don't want every rainwing hybrid to have the rainwing frill, like, so I tried to kind of branch out, and I'm not a huge fan of how her design turned out. I think it's a little plain, but I did add these kind of cool cracks that kind of resemble like ice cracking, so I think that's kind of a cool aspect of her design. So Moon is very reserved and a little bit not full of herself, but she's a little arrogant, and she doesn't know she's being arrogant, but she is kind of sad because she doesn't have any friends, because she can be kind of mean. But she's not like necessarily trying to be mean, but the girl is like brutally honest. Like, she cannot lie. So if you go, you ask her, "Oh, I don't feel nice today, or this or this, and she's like, yeah, you look ugly. Like, she's not trying to be mean, she's just trying to be honest. But I do want to say, no one is ugly. Everyone is beautiful in their own unique way. So if anyone ever calls you ugly, they're being a jerk. They just have nothing better to do than try to make people feel bad about themselves. So just, But she will be, like, brutally honest with you if you ask her a question that you want her to answer. Not to, it's not always a great idea to be honest. In most situations, honesty is a good thing. But in some of her situations, she can be kind of mean, like, so other dragons are not a huge fan of her, but she is getting better, and I think eventually she meets a dragon that kind of tells her, like, hey, being honesty, although it's good in most cases, sometimes you're hurting other dragons' feelings, and she doesn't know, but eventually I think she figures it out, and there's a little character development there, and she realizes that, wait, I've been kind of a jerk and haven't noticed, and yeah, she ends up, hopefully, character development and, development. She does live in the Ice Kingdom, and that's really all I have for her backstory. Like, she's just kind of a little arrogant and stuck up and lives in the Ice Kingdom, and she's a hybrid, so yeah. So next up we have Sunset, who is a mud sky hybrid. Now originally when I started her design, I wasn't hopeful I was going to actually like the end result. I'm just not a huge fan of mud wings or sky wings in general. They're very generic in their coloring, and there wasn't much you could do with that coloring, so I did end up giving her this, like, fiery pattern, and I really like it. And I think despite me not loving the color palette of both tribes, just for some reason I love how her design turned out, and I don't know what it is, but I love it. So very random change of heart. Maybe I'm starting to like mud wings and sky wings now, but I think it's just something about her color palette with the green of her eye and her little, like, shawl thing with the red of the fiery detail and her brown scales. They just complemented each other really well. So despite my first I was very hesitant at first that I would like her design, but the end result, I really like it, honestly. I think it's probably my second favorite hybrid I've ever drawn, second only to Parrot. Obviously, he's my favorite, and he'll probably always be my favorite. I love him. His coloring and jewelry is just so me, but anyway, Sunset, there we go, I almost forgot her name. That would have been embarrassing. But Sunset hatched from a blood red egg, and this isn't very abnormal, as you guys know. If you read Wings of Fire, it's a pretty common thing. Now, she didn't really know she was a hybrid. Her family didn't know she was a hybrid, really, except for, obviously, her mom, who did not disclose to anyone that she, in fact, had a thing with the Skywing before her dad. And now, I know this is kind of complicated, especially because mud wings are very much like, they don't talk to their kids or, like, their mates, they kind of just mate and they're gone. So I don't know what happened between her and the Skywing, but we won't talk about that. It's fine. You guys can brainstorm. Her personality is very chill, and she protects her sibs. Like, she's the big wing, so girl is protective, and she does get insecure about people calling out or making fun of her pattern, other dragons, but she's kind of learning to deal with it. She kind of buries it and acts all tough guy, but she does have a lot to learn, and her sibs are still helping her open up and get out of her shell. So anyway, that's all I have for this video. I really hope you guys enjoyed, and if you did, please leave a like and subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next one. Have a wonderful rest of your day or night.